흥미님 안녕하세요. 오늘도 꾸준하게 내고 있는 포렉스. 참 한결같은 사람입니다. 그쵸?
Um, but to do it the right way, we needed to. We couldn't just make one change, so we had to make several changes. But it's extremely bullish for pigs, dogs, and drip. So it's definitely the change that needed to happen. I knew it would take some time to change, and also I was hesitant about making change, but while we were doing additional testing
잠수라고 해야 되나
we're not able
싶은데
to launch on the
네,
18th anyways, for reasons that I can get into, not related to this specifically. I kind of realized that this is the only chance I'll be able to have to make this change, and we weren't able to go live on the 18th anyways, so really I should make the change, right? It's gonna be better for everybody in the long run. So we decided to go for it. This isn't a change that takes weeks, right? It's already done, right? It's already fully implemented. We're going to continue testing it. We implemented the changes yesterday. We started testing it yesterday. We had an auditing firm come in to help us test it yesterday to make sure we have some third party also looking at it that wasn't included in developing it, and we plan on setting up a test environment over the weekend to allow everybody to utilize it and test it before it goes mainnet, which will be first thing next week, so Tuesday we're looking at. So the great thing about that though is it will be live on testnet for everybody to utilize over the weekend, so people will see it's fully functional, fully working, and all we have to do is unpause it on Tuesday. So all right, there's enough people in here I think now that I'm gonna explain the change that we made. Okay, so the issue that I saw with the game theory of Animal Farm as it was previously set up is that people could use drip BUSD to farm our governance token pigs. And the reason why that's an issue is because we have this variable tax model which acts as a vesting model for Animal Farm dog tokens. And Animal Farm dog tokens are what you're earning as a reward for non-native staking. And then it can be utilized to increase your share ownership of the protocol. Now, if the vesting model is what prevents people from being able to immediately dump the asset when they initialize a claim on the farm, or a buy, or are sent the tokens, or they win it in the Dogs Roulette game. However they access those tokens, that variable vesting model is what heavily encourages them to utilize that capital to farm Animal Farm pigs and to reduce the tax in the dog pound, which is our loyalty system. So getting to the auto compounding dog pound, I would say, is the ultimate way to do that because you're reducing your tax while you're earning compound interest in the form of Animal Farm pig tokens. Now, if people can completely skip this vesting model and go right into farming the Animal Farm pig tokens with drip, it makes it so the barrier for farming with dogs is much higher and maybe not worth it for a lot of users, and that's an issue, right? That's a significant issue with the game theory. Now, I knew that our other mechanics are powerful enough to overcome that, but still, it's a major thorn kind of in the side of the game theory. But we wanted to ensure that drip and drip holders still have some sort of benefit from Animal Farm other than just the incentive to add liquidity to drip. So the reason why I didn't change it initially is because I didn't have an idea on how to replace that value for drip. So I knew taking the drip BUSD and not allowing it to farm Animal Farm pigs would be a major improvement to the Animal Farm game theory. Because then the only way you get Animal Farm pigs is by buying it off the market
이제 변경한지.
or
아이고.
by farming it with Animal Farm dogs, which has this variable tax vesting model that is generating a bunch of B&B and BUSD, right? BUSD for the pig pen stakers and B&B for the dog pound stakers. So removing drip USD from the pig's MasterChef contract makes massive impact, positive impact on the game theory of Animal Farm alone. But then the issue is, okay, but we just had a reduced value in drip. So we had to think about how we're going to maintain or improve the value of drip by making this change. And what we decided to go with is moving drip USD to the dog's MasterChef contract. So now, when you utilize drip USD in the farm, you're farming the dog's token, which has the vesting model. So you're being rewarded in a system in an asset that has the vesting model. So it's encouraging you to utilize that to farm pigs and earn B&B. But we're going to have an increased multiplier on it. So the most efficient way to farm dogs on Animal Farm will be with drip. So if you look at the Pig's MasterChef, drip was the lowest multiplier. It was dog BUSD, and then dog B&B, and then drip BUSD. So the average user who doesn't understand the game theory would say, okay, let's go with drip BUSD because that has the highest multiplier. You know, that's just the obvious face value
여기 세 개죠. 포함.
thinking that someone would do.
원래 픽으로 벌 수 있는.
But
하나, 둘.
if you really understand the game theory, you would say, okay, actually, I'm not even going to mess with Animal Farm dogs because I could skip the whole vesting line and get in with drip USD and then maybe just dump those pigs because I didn't have to go through any kind of significant process to earn them. And there isn't as much BUSD being generated for pigs because instead of that value coming in the form of dogs, which has a vesting model, which is sending more BUSD to pigs, that whole process gets skipped and they just do it with drip USD. So, but drip still had the lowest multiplier for the MasterChef pigs. Now, we're moving it to MasterChef dogs, and it will have the highest multiplier. So just people coming onto the site for the first time will see, all right, I want to get in with the non-native asset. which non-native asset has the highest APY, has the highest multiplier? Drip BUSD. Boom. They look, they say, okay, I can add liquidity for free, getting into Drip BUSD. It has a lower entry and exit fee, and a lot of people will decide to get in with Drip BUSD. So there's still this high incentive to get in with Drip BUSD, but when they do, they're not skipping all of the important game theory wrapped up in the vesting model on dogs and the BUSD and BB distribution to the dog pound and pig pen. So this is a major improvement on the game theory of Animal Farm. Like it's massive, because the only way you're going to get pigs is by buying them off the market, or by farming them with dogs, which can only be earned through non-native staking, or buying those dogs off the market. And when you access them, there is the vesting model. So this is just a major improvement, and it's something I've wanted to do, right? It's something I've wanted to do for a while, but it needs to be done in the right way. Okay, now, how does this benefit Drip, right? Because the how it benefits Animal Farm is obvious, right? It's undeniably massive improvement on the game theory of Animal Farm. But how does it benefit Drip? Okay, so how it benefits Drip, for one, is because it has the highest multiplier on non-native staking. So at face value, when people enter the Animal Farm, they see what has the highest multiplier, what can I earn the most dogs with. And this is important because it's, previously it was, okay, I could get in and start farming pigs while skipping all of the game theory that makes the system more sustainable, pays out more dividends, reduces the ability to do, immediate dumping. Now it's, what non-native asset can I farm those dogs with, which is Drip, because it has the highest multiplier, but it's still being done through all of the game theory that is what allows Animal Farm to be sustainable and high performing, and pay out these large stablecoin and BNB dividends. Right now, so they see it, they say, okay, what non-native farm can I get into this with that has the highest multiplier, has the highest APY? Okay, it's Drip. They look up, they see add liquidity, they can add liquidity to Drip tax-free, boom, they're in with Drip. So it's already incentivizing people to get in with Drip without allowing them to skip all of the vesting and important stuff involved with Animal Farm. And then we made an additional improvement, which is specifically focused at adding more value to Drip. So the value that we add to Animal Farm, undeniable, obvious, and massive. With Drip, highest multiplier on non-native staking, most efficient way to earn dogs. So that's an obvious way that people realize and recognize that how Animal Farm is providing value to Drip. But also, we're changing the fee structure slightly. And this is going to be big because it's going to allow for sustained buy pressure on Drip and relief from the faucet dividend model. So the way we're doing this is, previously, Drip had a 1% deposit, 1% withdrawal fee, all right? Which is less than all of the other farms. So this is another way where people hit the farms, they say, okay, what can I earn pigs with? Dogs BNB, dogs BUSD. What can I earn dogs with? They look and say, okay, Drip BUSD has the highest multiplier, it has the lowest fees, and I can add that liquidity tax free. Boom. So Drip becomes a very attractive way to earn dogs. Now, the deposit withdrawal fee will be slightly adjusted from 1 in, 1 out to 1 in, 2 out. But the previous model was taking the drip associated with this drip USD, unpairing it, and sending the drip to the tax vault. And we know when this happened with Manor Farm, which was like V1 of Animal Farm, it significantly increased the price of drip, right? Drip did over a 3x within the first couple weeks of launch. And part of the reason was not just because there's so much incentive to buy drip, but also because the tax vault, the drip tax vault, was being increased, right? It was having drip being sent to it, which was putting relief on the drip token, because instead of needing to mint drip to pay out dividends, it had that drip in the tax vault. And it's important that drip is either being removed from circulation at a rate higher than it's minting, and most importantly, this is happening through drip being sent to the tax vault, because this allows drip not to mint and allows the dividend to be paid out, which of course the dividend is always paid out, but if it can be paid out without minting and at a rate lesser than what is being removed from the supply, that's when you have a massive positive impact on drip. And Manor Farm allowed for that, so that's why we saw the 3x pump on drip at the launch of Manor Farm. This new model that we set up does this on jet fuel, because not only is it taking the drip that's being collected by the fee on deposit and withdrawal, which is what V1 was doing, it's also now going to take the BUSD that it gets from this and buying drip with it, and then sending that drip to the tax vault as well. So it's going to at least 3 or 4x the amount of drip being sent to the vault, while adding consistent buy pressure to drip. And this isn't just normal buy pressure either, right? Because normal buy pressure, you're taking BUSD from some other source and buying it. In this case, it's a form of compounded buy pressure, because that BUSD is coming from the sell side of the order book. So you're taking BUSD from the sell side of the drip order book and putting it on the buy side, which has a compounded positive impact on the price, while
어려운
increasing
얘기네요.
the padding as far as the BUSD that's there in case someone does sell. So not only will it be sending 3 to 4 times more drip to the drip tax vault, it's also doing a form of compounded buy pressure on the drip price. And this is massive, right? Because this is not only greatly improving the game theory of Animal Farm, it's also greatly improving the positive impact that Animal Farm will have on drip, right? Which is massive. And this was the one thing that prevented me from doing the switch. It was, how do we, if we add drip from being able to farm Animal Farm pigs, how do we add equal or more value to drip to make up for it? And this is how we add significantly more value for drip, while still giving it a very strong role in Animal Farm, because when you go into Animal Farm and you look at non-native staking, it has the highest multiplier, it has the lowest fees, and you can add that liquidity tax-free. But it doesn't allow you to skip the line and skip the whole vesting process, which was a thorn in the game theory from day one. And it means that pigs will be that much more rare, that much more difficult to earn, and anybody that is earning it is going through the vesting period, which is not only creating more value for dogs, because it's the only way that you can earn pigs, it's also removing more dogs from circulation, and it's generating more BNB and more BUSD to reward dogs in the dog pound and pigs in the pig pen. So it's just a major improvement on both sides. Whether you're a drip person and really only care about drip, or you're an animal farm person and only care about animal farm, major improvement on both. And then the majority of people love drip and love animal farm, and this is just perfect, right, all the way around. And this is something that I wanted to do from day one, but I needed to think of a way how we could add that value to drip if we're going to take it off the Animal Farm Pigs MasterChef. And while doing testing over the past couple days and speaking with my developers and speaking with auditors, I kind of realized, okay, this is how we can do it, but we don't have the time to do it because we got to go on the 18th. Now that we were not able to go live on the 18th for reasons that really had nothing to do with this, and
이것 때문 아니래요.
we could
연기된
go into that a little bit, but
게는 조금 어불성설인데.
it really was like, okay, we can make the time now. It will only take a couple days, and it's going to make a significant improvement all the way around. Now, just to speak about why
커플 브레이커예요.
we didn't go live on the 18th, and really it was it was a matter of some things that happened with the team like 3 weeks ago, where one of our core developers disappeared and created a ton of other work for our other developers, which was fine, right? We brought in the other developers, we got the work done, but some of the old contracts like Drip Liberation and the old site were being hosted by the previous developer, and also that hosting, that Cloudflare was not something that my new developers had been passed over access to, which is not like an end of the world issue. We just find alternative hosting for it, but that's something that all of a sudden on the day of launch they get locked out of the hosting service, and Drip Liberation has an issue, and it's just ridiculous timing, and it caused us to spend that day addressing those issues, which were addressed. They're not major issues, they're issues that if it happened on any other day would be okay, this is normal development things, but since it happened on the day of launch, it's inconvenient, obviously, more than inconvenient, but since that happened and we needed to push it back at least a day or two, that's when I was like, okay, I know what I want to do. I've wanted to do it for months.
안녕하세요, 바우저님.
I didn't do it because I needed to find some alternative for drip to ensure that it had, if we were doing this, it was going to increase the value of drip, because I already knew it's going to massively and positively impact the game theory of Animal Farm, but how can we also make it positively impact drip? And that prevented me from doing it over the past couple months. But while doing testing, while speaking to auditors over the past couple days, I realized, okay, this is how we can do it, and we have to push it back a couple days anyways because what happened on the 18th. So let's do it, right? Let's get it done. And that's what we decided to do. So we implemented it yesterday. We spent all day implementing it yesterday and running some tests at the end of the day. Right now we're testing it. We're continuing to testing it with us and an auditor. Over the weekend, we're going to go live on testnet, which will allow everybody to access it as if it's live on testnet, so everybody can see this is the finished product. They can utilize everything. They can see it's live and ready to go. And this will give everybody confidence that not only is it performing exactly as it should be performing, which is always the number one thing for me, right? Security needs to be number one. Decentralization needs to be number one. And it needs to be functioning exactly as it's supposed to function. So that will give everybody 100% confidence that it's doing that and it's ready to go because you'll be able to access it on a test net.
괜찮습니다.
And
오늘은
we'll
어제
have
잘 자가지고
major improved game theory.
맥주랑 감자튀김도
And
있어가지고
on
괜찮습니다.
Tuesday, which is because I don't want to go live over
이로스님
the weekend, and we have
오셨습니다.
at least one day of work to do. On Tuesday, it will just be a matter of unpausing, and everybody will know that because the site will be live in its final version, and people will already be utilizing it on a testnet. So they'll know that all we have left to do is unpause. And that will give everybody the confidence that, okay, when we say the countdown's on Tuesday,
오,
and it's going to
뭐죠,
zero,
준영님?
it's going to happen, and everything will be functioning perfectly. And
선물을 보내주셨나?
you know, people know that all of our competitors, right, over the past few years, every single one of them, I'm serious about that, every single one of them has had issues and lost investor capital. And we have never done that. And the reason why we have always protected investor capital is because when it comes time for us to do something, if we're not 100% sure if all the testing has been done, we don't do it. Like, we will push it back. And I know the community doesn't like that. No one likes that. No one dislikes it more than me. But what's important to me is that it's secure and it's functioning. That's what's important to me. And I know at the end of the day, people dislike delays, right? But they appreciate it a year later when the project is still at all-time highs, still paying out massive dividends, still performing, and they were able to go into it worry-free, knowing that we put in the work, and it's secure and it's decentralized. So that's the deal right now. So we're going to get an additional audit because we made this change, even though this change is very small for us, right? It's very small from a technical perspective. It's just removing a pool or removing a farm from Pig's MasterChef and including a pool on Dog MasterChef, right? So technically, it's a small change from a coding perspective, but from a game theory perspective, it's massive. So, but even though it's a relatively small change when it comes to coding, we don't change anything without redoing our audit. So, we're going to have an additional audit take place. We're to the point now where we've done our testing. We're going to finish the testing today. We're going to open up a testnet, live testnet, where everybody can access over the weekend. And then we go live on Tuesday. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the chat because there's no reason to keep the chat paused all weekend.
열어. 누가 껐어요? 스톤커를 누구야? 자, 내용은 어쨌든 런칭 지연된 이유는 두 번째로 얘기했고, 다시 들어가고 핵심은 그겁니다. 드립 BUSD LP를 파밍을 하면 우리가 받는 리워드가 거버넌스 토큰 피그였죠. 다 그렇게 알고 있었고, 그거를 아예 변경을 하겠다. 그래서 피그를 받는 게 아니라 도그를 받게 하겠다. 그에 대한
Okay,
배경,
well, someone just
그에 대한
lost a
뭐 적용책.
admin role. Let me see.
We're back, bro.
Yeah, let me just handle this real quick.
와우, 보이시나요?
Shout out to everybody in the building. Of course, greatness takes a little time, right? And then what a treat for us to have better game theory in the whole operation and more bullets with drip. Mighty leader does it again. Greatness.
Yeah, man. If we're gonna have a delay, it needs to be because there's an improvement, right? So the initial delay, it was due to some technical stuff that really had nothing to do with the project itself. It had to do with other services that that people would need to utilize if they want to use the project in some cases, and we had to deal with that. But you know, the important thing is that if we have to do something like that, it's with more value, it's with more testing, it's with deeper audits. So I think everybody will recognize the value that this brings. I think it's undeniable. So you know, I want everybody to consider that. And when I open the chat, you know, I want you guys to just recognize that, right? Please, you know, you guys are gonna focus on what you're gonna focus on, but I would appreciate it as someone who's spent 18 hours for the past week every single day getting us to this point, and you know, making the tough decisions to go with what is going to be better for everybody at the end. As the person who's doing that, I would appreciate it if you know, if you could just consider it, right? Consider the value, and not be hyper focused on the fact that we're gonna push it back a couple days, and instead recognize the value that is added from this. And this is not a case like the other delays that we had. The previous delays that we had, I don't want to get into it too much because we're past it, but it was largely due to people on the dev team that we were relying on disappearing and not delivering when they were supposed to deliver. And that is not an issue, right? That is not an issue anymore. We have a very strong dev team who are 100% committed, and that is not an issue. We had kind of a residual of that issue with the hosting thing, but that is taken care of, and really that will never be an issue from this point on. And now it's just, and that even still was kind of, you know, the cause in this case, but we have solved it, right? That was the last little bit of residual from that situation. And I really appreciate that, you know, he took responsibility for it as well, and, you know, publicly, which is big for him to do, because he's a friend of mine. He's a really good guy, and he's very smart and very skilled.
Good guy? I'm not sure.
So I have no ill will towards anybody, and and we were able to work through it, and it's, none of that is an issue anymore anyways, right? So other than that, I'm just excited. I'm excited because I know that this is a big improvement, that Animal Farm Pig and Animal Farm Dogs and Drip are going to perform much better with this improved game theory. And it was just about figuring out that last little bit on how to do it and making the call to do it. And I figured out how we could do it real close to launch, but it was when we were doing the final testing and realized we have to kind of push back a couple days anyways, that I just said, let's do it. You know, let's do it. It's worth doing. People will be upset for a day, a couple days, but a week from now, when it's live and we're pumping and we're outperforming every other yield aggregating asset in the world, no one will be complaining. And I'm willing to take a little bit of heat for a couple of days, if that means, you know, years of just glory and performance. So that's where we are right now, guys. I'm gonna open up the chat, and just thank you for everybody for being patient. I appreciate it. Thank you for staying positive. I have seen that the vast majority of people have been very, very positive, because they know, and especially the people that see behind the scenes, know that these things happen because I have the best interest for the investor, and for no other reason than that. I want to see you guys win, and we're gonna win. So, you know, to win, you need to put in the work, and sometimes you need to make some sacrifices. In this case, it's just a very slight delay. And
Hey, Forex. This is
I appreciate
Brandon.
you guys for being patient and positive. What's up, Brandon?
Hey, I'm glad you could hear me. And this is this is just absolutely amazing. I'm super excited about these changes. So thank you for working that out. It sounds absolutely amazing, both like you said for the pigs token, the dogs token, and for drip. It's going to be just amazing. So question for you, the 1% deposit and 2% withdrawal fees, that generates a bunch of drip BUSD. Now, is all of that drip and all of that BUSD going to go to the tax vault?
Minus 30%, which goes to where it initially goes, right? So all of the assets that, so it has the same distribution, right, of Pigpen and Dogs buyback, but we increased it an extra 1% to allow to offset what would be causing sell pressure for drip, to make up for that, and then to add additional buy pressure for drip. So it still is sending a portion of the BUSD to the Pigpen and a portion to buy back dogs, but that's why we added the additional 1% fee, so we can utilize that plus an additional I believe 30 or 40% to do buybacks of drip, and not just regular buybacks of drip, but removing that BUSD from the sell side of the book and putting it in the buy side of the book to take additional drip from the order book and put it into the faucet. So it still has the it's still doing all of the actions of any non-native staking as far as generating BUSD for dogs buyback and for the Pigpen, and it would be doing just that if we kept the tax the same, and then what would be going towards a dev fee would instead be going to buybacks, which is still happening. But now on top of that, we added a slight increase on the fee, which will be used on top of the capital, which would otherwise be going to like dev and marketing, going towards buyback. So it's like something like 30% going towards dogs buyback and Pigpen, and 70% going towards buybacks of drip. So that's about how it's worked out.
Awesome. And I think it's going to be, like you said, jet fuel, because this is going to make the drip BUSD farm on Animal Farm super, super attractive. And of course, drip liberation is a huge part of that, right? So people will start using drip liberation like crazy, which buys drip with half of their money, so they can get those LP tokens and earn dogs at the highest multiplier.
Yeah,
so absolutely
so
amazing.
It's much better game theory, because what it does is now people hit Animal Farm and they see, okay, what can I generate the most dogs with, which is just the main reward token on the system. Okay, it's drip. What farm has the lowest fees? Okay, it's drip. Can I add liquidity to drip tax free? I can. So then, like, bam, it's pretty obvious I want to get in with drip. But when they get in with drip, it's still doing the same BUSD distribution to the Pigpen, so it's just as positive as them depositing any other asset. It's still doing the dogs buyback, but it's also sending that drip to the tax vault and using a portion of the BUSD, which would otherwise be going to marketing and platform fees, plus an additional 1% which adds to that in the form of BUSD, is removing that BUSD from the sell side of drip, putting it in the buy side, making it so it has a compounded positive effect, because you're not just adding BUSD to the buy side, you're removing BUSD from the sell side and adding it to the buy side. And for some people, I know there's some Hex people in here, right? We always have Hex people. This is really the secret to how Hex did 10,000x in its first year. It's because, for one, Hex was being removed from circulation, but more importantly, Richard held 90+% of the liquidity, and he was able to remove liquidity. So removing USDC from the sell side of the book, and he was using that USDC to add to the buy side of the book. So having a compound positive effect on Hex, and then taking that Hex and staking it into the his staking contracts. Now that is the main secret, right, of how Hex did its 10,000x. It's the tokens removed from circulation while having the person that holds 90+% of the liquidity removing liquidity, and then using the stablecoin side of liquidity to increase the price. And when you remove liquidity, there's more of an impact whether you're buying or selling. So if you remove a little bit of liquidity and then add and then use the sell side of that liquidity, which is USDC in his case, which is BUSD in our case, to buy the token, you've now had a increased positive impact than you would have if you just added that stable coin by itself. And the difference between us and Hex, there's a lot of them, but one of them is that this isn't some individual deciding to do it. And with Hex, when that Hex was deposited, removed from circulation, in his thing, it reduced the APY for everybody else. Where in our case, it's being sent to the faucet vault, which just makes it so it's easier for the system to pay out dividends to everybody else. It doesn't reduce anybody's rewards. It makes it so Drip can continue to pay out its dividend without inflating the supply, which is super bullish for Drip. So we're hitting Drip from two ends, right? We're removing BUSD from the sell side. We're adding it to the buy side, which has a compounded positive effect. And we're taking that Drip, removing it from circulation, and putting it into a place where dividends are paid out to further push back and not and prevent the need for inflation of the Drip token. So it's super bullish for Drip, right? On top of the fact that when you hit the farm, you see that Drip has the highest multiplier. It has the lowest fee. You can add to it tax-free. So it's super bullish for Drip all the way around without allowing people to utilize Drip to skip the vesting process, to skip the whole game theory, which adds value to Animal Farm. So now, when people are farming with Drip or any other asset, they're earning the dog token. They now have an option to utilize that dog token to farm governance tokens, to utilize it to reduce their tax and earn BNB, or get the best of both worlds, put it into the auto compounding contract where you're earning BNB while reducing tax, while earning compound interest in the governance asset. But you're still having to you're still under the vesting model, which is preventing short-term dumping and the kind of bleeding that we see with other farms. Is taking that completely off the table and adding so much value to the dog and pig tokens. Now it's so much harder to get the pig token. You need to buy it off the market, or you need to farm it by going through this vesting process. And the dog token has so much more value now because it's the only asset that you're going to get that governance token with. And when you get that dog token, you're generating an additional 30 to 40+ % APY on the back end through the lending to pancake swap, which you can only access if you're utilizing those dog tokens to farm pigs, or if you're buying pigs outright. So, I mean, it's just a major improvement on the game theory all the way around. Very important improvement on game theory for Animal Farm, so people that only care about Animal Farm. And there's plenty of people, right? There's plenty of people that have no interest in drip. They don't maybe not understand drip. They don't like the team referral structure of drip. You know, sometimes people can be snobby about that. There's all kinds of reasons why people love Animal Farm, because it's kind of like a staple in DeFi to have yield aggregating lending, but Animal Farm does it way better than any other protocol in the space. So people love Animal Farm for that reason that might not like drip. And this makes it so Animal Farm is way more attractive to them now, because they know drip people are able to shortcut the game theory and remove value from the pig token and the dog token. But this is still very positive for drip people that may not care about Animal Farm, because now there's a consistent sort of buy pressure, in a way that's going to have the most impactful price appreciation, because the value that is increasing the price of drip is coming from the sell side of the book. So you have that compounding effect that we've seen be super positive in other assets such as Hex. But the difference is, with Hex, that could only be done for so long, because with Hex, every time Richard did that, he's giving up his share of the liquidity and his share of capital that I'm sure he saw as his, right? So it relied on him to do it, one centralized person to do it. He's giving up his power every time he does it, which we know Richard, right? We know that's not something he wants to do. And there's a limited amount of capital there. Once he runs out, he runs out. Where in this case, it's individuals doing it when they make their own decision, and it's not a limited set of capital. It's an automated system that happens every time someone deposits drip USD for the life of the project. So it's so bullish, guys, you know? And man, it's something that I've wanted to do, right? It's something that I've been thinking about, and it's been like a thorn in my side that drip BUSD was farming pigs. But I knew if I just remove it from farming pigs without creating value in some other way, drip people will not be happy. So I've been thinking about it a lot, and in testing, I came up with this idea, and then we tested it. We were at some projections, and I was like, "This is it. This is it. We have to do it. It will only take a couple days. People are going to be aggravated because we have to push it back a couple days, but they will not be complaining a year from now, or even 2 months from now, or a month from now. So we need to do it." And we could just have implemented it yesterday and went live as well, right? But we don't even, no matter how small from a technical perspective the change is, we don't just push it without doing significant testing and auditing. So that's what we're doing now. But to ensure that everybody is confident that we'll go live on Tuesday, and to remove all doubt, we're going to launch on a testnet the full working live model. So everybody can see, okay, the new site's out, it's fully working, everything's ready to go, and all that's left to do is unpause, and that will give everybody the confidence that they need, because I know if you delay and you delay, it causes a lack of confidence that the next time you say you're going to go live, we're going to go live. So this time we're going to do it different, and we're going to launch on a testnet first, so everybody can utilize it themselves, and they can see that it is fully hooked up and ready to go, and be confident that when that timer hits 0 on Tuesday, it's going live. And right, that's the best anybody could possibly do. And of course, we want to do what the best thing that's possible, and that's why we decided to do this. What's up, Will? You want to say something?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I saw he unmuted himself. I'm not sure.
Yeah, can you hear me?
You're really quiet.
Yeah, I'll try to speak up. Yeah, just getting a few DMs today about our marketing. They're asking me, are we going to push marketing for this new date this weekend, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So that's why, right? That's why we're not going to just go live with it, tomorrow when we're done testing. Because for one, we don't want to go live over a weekend, and secondly, we want to ensure that everybody is aware of the new date, and we have plenty of capital for marketing, and we want to have a nice run up where we're having several days of hard promotion to let everybody know about the new date. But from what I've seen from engagement and from everything else, everybody's fully engaged, right? They were here on the 18th ready, and they're tuned in every day to see what's up, what's the update, and they'll be ready on Tuesday. Now, the reason why I've been a little bit quiet over the past couple days is because I've been in full dev mode, right? I've been in 18-hour long private chats with developers and auditors, doing everything with them, and part of the reason why I have to play such a role right now in the technical side of things is because liquidity has already been added, so I cannot give the keys to anybody else. So no matter what. So I have to be the one that's doing all of the hands-on stuff, right? So that's why I've been a little bit quiet over the past couple of days. Is for one, I don't want to make any kind of half-hearted statements where I say that, okay, we just have to do testing and we'll do this, or I wanted the next time I came and spoke to be, all right, you can stake now, here's the countdown. And so that was one reason why I was being a little bit quiet. And the other reason is just because I've just been in dev meetings 24/7 in a way that I previously haven't needed to be. And the reason for that is because we cannot, I cannot allow our developers full access to everything as they could previously because the liquidity has been added already. So I can't have anybody have access to those keys but me. So that will be different because we'll be wrapping up that testing today, and then I will no longer need to be in that role, and I'll be able to be completely active and front facing from a community perspective, and we'll be launching the testnet version, and also be having an additional audit, which it looks like I'm going to end up having to pay these auditors like an extra $30,000 or $20,000 or something, because this is like a last minute thing. Like, hey, I'm going to slip you $20,000-$30,000, forget all these other projects, put us to the front of the line and get it done for us. So, and I'm going to pay for that out of pocket, as I always do.
Thank you for it.
So,
Thank you.
So that's how it's going, guys. And I appreciate the positivity because I see people are positive. I gave an announcement like 10 minutes before I came in here in a group that is a heavy drip group, just to see how they felt about it. Everybody was very, very positive about it because it's undeniable, right? This is an undeniable improvement. So people are willing to forgive a slight pushback for a major improvement, and this is clearly a major improvement. And I knew that something big had to be brought to the table, and this is something I've wanted to do. So I appreciate
2025. 1 week won't make a difference when we're sitting back in 2025 with all of our wealth that we've generated on Animal Farm. We're not going to be worried about, well, it didn't start on the 18th. It actually started on the 25th. No, nobody's going to care.
And also, right, Animal Farm, this is not something where we launch this and that's it. This is something where we launch this and next year it becomes a foundation for us to continue to build on top of. And if that foundation is at all shaky, it heavily limits your ability to do things in the future that you want to do. And if that game theory wasn't as tight as it possibly could be, it will affect, when we add individualized lending to it, it will affect the insurance model, it will affect all the other beautiful things that I want to build on top of Animal Farm. So that's why this has been a bit of a thorn in my side. Like, I want to do this, we need to do this, crunching, thinking about how we can do it while adding value to Drip and Animal Farm, not just Animal Farm, and we came up with it. So thank you guys. I appreciate it. I'm gonna hop off now. I'm gonna go into a dev meeting to wrap up, so we can wrap up testing today and get this testnet up. So I'm gonna hop off. I'm gonna open up the chat. Please be respectful, be patient, be positive. Being negative does not help anybody, right? It's not gonna help anybody. Trust, it's not gonna help yourself as a holder. So just keep that in mind. And also, there's no reason to really be negative because this is very, very positive for the project. All right, guys, I'm gonna hop off. Unless anybody else, Ray, do you want to take over, or are we good to go?
Good. Yeah, we're good.
All right, guys. All right, bye.
끝났네요. Ready. 일등 열어. 열어주세요. 오, 저 1등 했어. 맞죠? 저 1등이죠? 안 돼. 아니네요. 1등 아니네. 와, 준현님 이거 보내시고 떠나셨나요? 감사합니다. 잘 먹겠습니다. 내용이 많은데 결론은 그렇게 많지는 않은 것 같거든요. 자, 결론은 우리가 LP 토큰을 넣고 파밍을 하는 것들 중에 계시군요. 감사합니다. 준효님 2잔이나 보내주시고 내일 2잔 잘 나눠 먹겠습니다. 힘이 나네요. 자, 그래서 핵심은 지금도 그렇죠. 드립 BUSD가 세계의 코어 팜 중 하나고 earn, 리워드로 받아가는 건 피그인데 이거를 AFD로 바꾸겠다. 자, 그러한 이유는, 그리고 기대하는 효과는 뭐냐? 우선은 애니멀팜의 메커니즘 전체가 이제 외부 자금 기준으로 봤을 때 그게 들어오면은 첫 번째 리워드 토큰이 도그를 벌게 되죠. 자, 그리고 그 도그가 도그 파운드로 가든 풀로 가든 아니면 이렇게 도그가 다른 BUSD나 BNB랑 묶인 LP로 다시 환전이 돼서 피그를 받는, 결론은 도그를 활용해서 그 최종 단계인 피그를 받게끔 하는 건데, 그거를 바꿔줌으로써 피그의 덤핑을 우선 줄인다 라는 것도 있고, 그리고 또 좋은 효과가, 얘네는 자 도그 드립은 다 애니멀팜에 처음 오는 사람들에게는 굉장히 생소한 토큰이잖아요. 자, 그런데 얘를 이제 도구로 바꾸는 순간 이 드립 and BUSD LP라는 카테고리가 외부의 기존 자금들, 제 BNB, 뭐 USDT 이런 스테이블도 있고, 이더, 비트, 뭐 케이크, 벨트, 폴카다, 링크를 포함한 모든 도구를 리워드로 받는 파밍 중에 제일 이율이 높을 거다라는 얘기를 하죠. 아마도 그거는 또 이제 경쟁이 얼마나 되냐에 따라 다를 수가 있는데 어쨌든 그렇게 될 거다라고 얘기를 했고, 자 그러면 사람들이 당연히 이거 보고 자 BUSD는 알겠는데 드립이 뭐야? 아 드립이 포렉스가 원래 처음에 시작한 프로젝트의 토큰이구나. 자 그럼 이거 어떻게 뭐 이건 당연히 사야겠지. 자 근데 여기 있죠, 드립 리버레이션이라는 컨트랙이 우리가 있죠. 옛날 걸로 돌려놨네요. 자 여기다가 BUSD나 뭐 케이크나 이더리움 이런 마음에 드는 자기가 가지고 있는 기존의 토큰을 넣으면 얘를 자동으로 반을 쪼개서 드립 BUSD LP로 바꿔주잖아요. 이런 식이죠. BUSD 100을 넣으면 이거로 반을 쪼개서 드립을 사고 그 드립과 BUSD를 묶어서 LP를 만들어주고, 자 그런 와중에 원래 있는 드립의 바이 텍스 10%를 면제시켜주는 게 이 드립 리버레이션, 드립을 자유롭게 하라 라는 기능인데, 자 이거를 통해서도 나는 드립 BUSD 이렇게 쉽게 만들 수 있구나 라고 하게 되고, 원래는 이 팜에 발생하는 수수료, 모든 자금에 대한 수수료가 총 4%죠. 그게 반반씩 나눠서 들어올 때 디파짓 2%, 인출 시 2%인데 드립 N BUSD만 이거의 절반입니다. 총 2%고 반 1%는 디파짓 들어올 때, 반 1%는 인출 나갈 때. 자, 근데 그거에 대한 세금을 또 올리는 것도 이번 변경 내용 중 하나라고 하죠. 이것도 핵심 내용이 되겠네요. 그럼 기존은 총 2%고 총 3%가 되죠. 자 그래서 거기에서 발생하는 수수료들이 원래 있던 기능은 드립의 텍스 볼트, 세금 바구니로 그 드립을 보내서 사람들이 드립을 클레임할 때 쓸 수 있도록 드립 바구니를 계속 넉넉하게 채워주는 버팀목 역할을 하게 되는데, 그거와 더불어 브랜든이 이제 그 어드민 브랜든이 질문한 내용이 조금 더 자세한 설명이 나왔죠. 자 그러면 그 수수료들 인 1%, 아웃 2%가 모여서 그중 드립은 당연히 그 바구니로고 나머지 BUSD가 모두 드립의 매수 압력을 올리는 데 활용이 되냐? 그건 아니고 70%는 도구에 쓴다고 했는데 이게 도구에 쓰이나? 쓰이는 게 맞나? 뭐 애니멀팜에서 발생하는 수수료니까 그게 맞는 것 같긴 한데 제가 들은 당시 내용은 요거거든요. 자 그래서 70% 그러면 LP 전체가 100이면은 BUSD가 50이고 그거의 70%니까 총 35%의 가치는 LP 기준으로 35% 가치는 도구 AFD 바이백에 사용되고 나머지 약 30%가 드립의 바이백에 사용된다. 약간 그 톤이 다른 단어가 한 개 있었는데 다시 들어봐야 저는 알 것 같고요. 그러면서 마지막에 하나 이제 덧붙인 내용은 데브 앤 마케팅 피가 애니멀팜에 이제 조금씩 생겼죠. 아주 소량이긴 합니다. 이 수수료의 10% 정도니까 전체 기준으로는 지금 1%, 10% 하면 0.1%죠. 뭐 이런 수준. 그렇게 되고 자 그러면서 자 우리 커뮤니티 멤버들 중에 헥스 사람들도 많으신 거 알고 있습니다 라고 하면서 헥스의 메커니즘, 그리고 헥스가 메커니즘 어때서 1000년도에 수만 % 상승했는지를 설명했는데, 제가 헥스가 왜 이렇게 뭐가 있었고 왜 이렇게 올랐는지는 잘 모르거든요. 설명하기로는 셀 오더북 물량을 바이로 옮겨 보냈다 라고 하는데, 그게 헥스의 오너인 리처드 하트가 대부분의 유동성을 가지고 있기 때문에 이제 그냥 시장을 지배하고 있었는데, 다행히도 그거를 자기의 이득을 위해서 썼다기보다는 이 유동성을 희생하면서 이 오더북의 조작에 가까운 거죠. 사실은 중앙화 기능, 중앙 관리자가 중앙화 기능을 통해서 오더북을 이제 조절하면서 가격도 조절한 셈인데, 자, 그거에 대한 어디 있습니까? 문제는 제한사항, 이제 끝은 언젠간 일어났었을 수도 있는 그 운명은 이 본인의 자금과 유동성을 모두 쓰게 되면 더 이상 쓸 수가 없는 전략이다라는 거죠. 자, 근데 그게 계속 상승을 하다 보니까 다른 외부 자금들이 붙었고, 그래서 아마 어느 정도 희생하다가 그걸 이제 멈췄겠죠. 적당히 쓰든가 희생하는 양을 줄였던가. 자, 그래서 헥스가 버전 1이 그렇게 성공을 했던 건데, 우리가 활용한 이 드립 셀 프레셔 투 바이 관련 메커니즘은 방금 말한 헥스의 리처드 하트처럼 중앙 관리자 한 명으로 의존하는 게 아니고, 뭐 그런 게 없기도 하죠. 그런 건 없고, 모든 애니멀팜 메커니즘과 더불어 그 중심에 있는 드립 USD LP 파밍을 근간으로 하기 때문에 그 지속 가능성과 진정성이 헥스와는 차원이 다를 것이다. 자, 이거는 한 명, 뭐 포렉스나 데프팀, 포렉스 에코시스템이 그냥 조작하듯이 하는 게 아니라, 아까 말한 사람들이 또 와서 나 외부 자금 그냥 쓸 건데 도구 받을래. 그리고 뭐가 제일 좋지? API가 뭐가 제일 좋지? API가 뭐가 제일 좋지? 코어가 달려있는 건 또 뭐지? 하면서 드립은 뭔데 이렇게 많이 줘? 얘도 도구 주는데 나 이거 해볼래. 이거 어떻게 만들어? 그 연결고리들이 착착착 생기면서 뭐 지속 가능성이나 진정성이 다르다라고 하는 거죠. 근데 오늘 완전 뭐 처음 공식적으로 발표하는 내용이라 제가 다오방에서 한번 이런 게 나올 수도 있지 않겠니? 라고 들었는데, 이게 지금 포렉스 입에선 처음 들어가지고 실제는 또 어떨지 열려봐야 알겠죠? 그 외에는 기존에 계속 설명되었던 내용입니다. 도구 LP를 LP로 받아간 사람들이 있을 거고 싱글로 받아간 사람들이 있을 건데, 뭐 그거와 이거 뭐 차이. 그리고 본인이 그렇게 지원이 되는 와중에도 그렇게 많은 업데이트를 할 수 없었는데, 그거는 대부 회의에 집중하느라도 그랬고, 또 이제 코어 개발자가 잠적을 하다가 상당한 제약을 거니까 그때 대서에 나타나서 해결을 하려고 했는데, 그게 서로 간에 이제 합이 잘 맞지가 않았고, 그런 와중에 자기가 직접적인 잔 작업을 해야 되는 경우도 많았고, 포렉스가 그래서 좀 바빴다, 정신이 없었다. 그래서 지금 이 위에 말한 테스트 내용과 또 테스트넷 런칭을 주말 지나서 아마 주말 말기 월요일 초반쯤에 하게 되면 다시 자기가 이제 직접적인 작업팀, 데프팀 레벨에서 올라와서 커뮤니티 관리 및 오너로서 할 수 있는 마케팅 활동, 마케팅 관리들을 진행할 수 있을 거다 라는 내용이죠. 그래서 뭐 싸우지 마라 라는 말로 마무리를 하고 보이스챗이 끝났습니다. 조금 더 인내심을 가지길 바라며 아이고. 준현이 아까 화요일 얘기는 했거든요. 그럼 저희가 이번 주에 했던 것처럼 수요일 새벽이긴 한데 모르죠. 또 이게 얼마나 반복적인 긴 희망 공원일지. 네, 우선은 화요일이라고 했는데 제가 여기 안 쓸게요. 또 썼다가 들어오신 분들이 화요일날 연다면서요? 무조건 또 이렇게 될까봐. 네, 지금 방송 들으신 분들만 이해할 수 있도록 25일 화요일이니까 우리 시간 10월 26일 수요일이겠네요. 자, 그래서 서로에게 존중하는 커뮤니티 멤버들로 남아있기를 바란다 여러분. 나는 hop off 떠난다. 그러니까 뭐 당연히 주말에는 런칭 안 하고 뭐 자, 내용만 보면은 긍정적인 변화는 맞는데 타임라인상 이미 일정이 지연된 것에 대해서는 그 중요한 열차가 벌써 떠나가 버렸죠. 그래서 여러분들 생각도 그럴 거고 그 많은 방에서도 아니 그렇게 많은 사람들한테 홍보를 했는데 돈도 많이 쓰고 뭐 트위터 인플루언서, 틱톡, 유튜버, 뭐 각종 하이레벨 매거진에 유료 광고 게시글 뭐 많이 했는데 이렇게 늘어져서 그것 자체로 사람들이 너에 대한 신뢰성, 우리 시스템에 대한 불신을 뭐 가지게 된 건 아닐까라고 얘기하는 것도 말이 되죠? 뭐 제가 보기에도 그래요. 워낙에 이 디파이 바닥에 사기꾼들만 많고 뭐 해준다 하면서 안 해주거나 뭐 슬금슬금 사라지거나 갑자기 뭐 컨트랙트를 뭐 바꾸거나 지금 이런 내용도 약간 그렇죠. 업그레이드를 마스터쉐프 컨트랙트 하고 싶은데 갑자기 뭐 지원이 된 틈을 타서 하는 건지 뭐 아니면 설명하려면 좀 복잡하죠. 근데 그 메커니즘이 원래 뭐였고 포렉스가 지금 이걸 바꿀 수 있는 기회가 사실상 마스터쉐프 컨트랙트를 최종적으로 적용시키기 전에 할 수 있는 마지막 기회라고 생각을 해서 내가 욕을 더 먹더라도 어디 있습니까? 이거. 자, 커뮤니티 여러분들 모두 이러한 지원에 굉장히 불쾌하실 거라고 생각합니다. 조금 인정을 한 느낌이죠. 그 누구보다 근데 정확하고 빠른 런칭을 바랬던 건 저 포렉스라는 걸 다시 말씀드리고 싶습니다. 이런 요구도 했었죠. 근데 다른 애들 뭐 이상하게 하거나 망하거나 뭐 점점 사라지거나 러그하거나 하는 것들보다는 나는 이렇게 확신이 있는 메커니즘이 떠올랐고 그것을 적용하고 조금 더 기다리고 런칭하는 게 중요하다고 생각합니다. 라는 거죠. 그래서 이 며칠 동안 이 추가적인 며칠 동안 제가 욕을 먹어서라도 더 강력한 메커니즘으로 런칭할 수 있다면 저는 그렇게 하겠습니다. 어차피 그렇게 할 건데 욕을 먹는 것 또한 감안을 하겠다 라는 내용이죠. 네, 감사합니다. 에드워드님, 모당님 또 어서오세요. 그래서 오늘 보이스챗 내용은 이 정도인 것 같고요. 그러면 여러분 퀴즈입니다. 퀴즈. 채팅에 이거 답 써보시면 되겠습니다. 몇 퍼센트일까요? 영수님, 네. 어서오세요. 바로 위에 썼던 건데 그 숫자 2개 더 하셔야 되는데 정답입니다. 영수님. 자, 저 텔방에 우리 에어드랍 찬조 보내주신 분이 있다고 했죠. 반류님이시고요. 반류님이 보내신 에어드랍 진행 오늘이 1라운드입니다. 영수님 지갑 주소 올려주시겠어요? 바로 에어드랍 드립니다. 반류님이 많이 주셨어요. 오늘은 맛보기로 3방울만 갑니다. 3%라서 제가 이미 3방울 드리려고 마음 먹고 있었습니다. 나머지는 뭐 생방 때 할 수도 있는데 생각이 든 게 갑자기 방송 켜서 양보? 아니에요. 영수님 받으셔도 되는 게 방송에서 활용하라고 반려님이 주셨거든요. 영수님 뭐 진행하셔도 괜찮은데 양보하십니까? 다시 여쭤보겠습니다. 받으셔도 됩니다. 질문이 있는데요. 애니멀팜 전 풀에 있던 거. 이거 그 런칭 준비할 때 3일 전부터 이미 해제돼 있는 걸로 알고 있거든요. V1 여기죠? 한번 해제 언스테이크 해보시겠어요? 저는 남아있는 자금이 없어서. 양보? 안 하셨고 없고. 자, 그러면 그냥 1등으로 댓글 다신 준염님께 진행하겠습니다. 45가 어디서 나왔는지는 모르겠지만 그냥 진행하겠습니다. 준염님 주소 끝자리 요거 맞죠? 축하드립니다. 써야 돼요. 지금 마케팅 비용이 많이 남았습니다. 자, 그래서 이 내용이죠. 이 라운드는 예고 없이 빠르고 짧게 한 번 더 진행하도록 하겠습니다. 그 이유는 아마 다른 이제 생방송 간에 조금 더 본격적으로 할 것 같아요. 2라운드 언제 할지는 예고 없이 진행하겠습니다. 오늘은 포렉스 보이스챗, AFD 도구, 마스터쉐프, 컨트랙트, 긴급변경에 대해서 봤습니다. 오늘 방송은 여기까지 하겠습니다. 네, 마음씨를 되게 잘 베푸시는 것 같아요. 그 기부하신 게 벌써 3번째거든요. 100BUS 이번에도 100BUSD나 기부하셨는데 사실 어제 하나로 따지면은 14만 5천 원에 가까운 돈이고 그냥 내 지갑에서 툭 꺼내준 거나 다름없잖아요. 고생한다고 저한테 감사의 마음을 표했지만 방송에서 또 활용하라고 주셔가지고 정말 정말 감사할 따름이죠. 거기 이제 더블로 저도 얹으면은 풍족한 이제 파티를 할 수 있게 돼서 저희 제 드립 벨리 팀원도 아니세요. 또 그냥 이제 뭐 저희 텔방에서 같이 얘기도 나누고 응원도 해주시고 하는데 계신가요? 발류님 나가셨나요? 주무시러 가셨나요? 다시 한번 감사합니다. 자, 남은 뭐 질문 있으시면 여기 영상 마치고 올라오는 녹화 영상에 댓글 달아주시거나 저희 텔방에서 뭐 자유롭게 질문해주세요. 그럼 제가 아는 내용 모조리 답변 드리고 있는 거 아시죠? 질문 따로 없으시면 방송 마치겠습니다. 네. 인사 말씀 감사드립니다. 영수님. 네, 에드워드님도 감사합니다.